concentration. Okay, let me write here carrier concentrations. Now, carrier concentration meaning it is a quantity. It can be expressed per centimeter cube or per meter cube. Fine, it's a concentration, the amount. Fine. Now, that amount, if I want to calculate for electrons, electrons is represented as n. So, equation that we have derived in the last two lectures is like this: Nc into e raised to minus of Ec minus of Ef by kT. Okay, this is what this is electron concentration. Now, what it says, this number of electrons represented as n, denoted as n, it depends upon the number of energy states, energy density states. Uh, it depends upon the number of energy levels into e to the power of this factor. Now, let me recollect this. You have a valence band, you have the conduction band. Fine. Now, this EC points to the lowest most energy level of conduction band. So when we say band, it is basically collection of energy levels. This density is given by this value, capital N subscript C, in the conduction band. C stands for conduction band. Fine. EF is the Fermi level. Then K is a Boltzmann constant, correct? And T is the temperature in degree Kelvin. Now, this is important from numericals point of view. If you are asked to find out the concentration of electrons for a given density and at a given temperature, and with these values are mentioned, then you can easily calculate the value of N. So, what is EC minus EF? EC minus EF is the difference between these two levels. Like for example, this EC can be 2 electron volt and this EF can be 1.5 electron volt. So this difference 2 minus 1.5 will decide how many electrons will be present in the conduction band. Simple expression. Okay. Similarly, P, P is the whole concentration is given as the energy density states in the valence band into E to the power EF minus EV by KT. Now, what is NV? NV is the effective density states in the valence band. Effective density states in valence band. Likewise, NC is the effective density states in conduction band. Now, EF we already discussed, it is a Fermi level. EV, EV is the energy of the topmost level in the valence band. So this is EV, and the difference between EC and EV is the energy band gap. Fine. So NC is the effective density of energy states in the conduction band. Let me write again, because this is the terms we are going to use again and again. Effective density of energy states in conduction band. Okay. Now I'll just redraw it again here. EC and EV. Now just taken two lines from this diagram. This is the energy band diagram. Okay. From here, I'm just taking the help of these two lines, EC and EV. EC and EV, and I'm redrawing it over here. Fine. Now for all our understanding, we're just going to stick to these two values, EC, EV, and EF. Fine. So in this energy band diagram, this is energy band diagram. So in this energy band diagram, the bottom end of the conduction band is called as EC. So let me represent it over here. Fine. So it is the bottom end of the conduction band, and the top end of, just one second, somebody has joined. Okay. So let us continue with our discussion. Now, by now you know what is EC and what is EV. Okay. Now, for our understanding, let us draw the Fermi level somewhere here, which is nearer to EC. Now, if I want to calculate the electron concentration, now electron concentration in the conduction band. Okay. Now, if I want to calculate the electron concentration, so it basically depends on what? It depends on, look at the equation here. It depends on EC minus EF here. Fine. This difference, this energy difference will decide the value of N. So you can get so many things from this simple mathematical expression. Like we can make out like this value of N depends on so many parameters. If I want to increase or decrease, I have to play with these values. Fine. Now, NC is typically a constant value. So the value of N is, again, K is constant. Now, what you can change to change the value of N or to vary the value of N, it is EC, EF, and T. So we say that N is a function of EC minus EF and temperature. And what is EC minus EF? EC minus EF, from this pictorial representation, it is simply the difference between two energy levels. Now, what is EF? Let me write here. It is a reference energy level at which the probability of finding, it is the reference energy level at which the probability of finding an electron of n energy unit above it in conduction band is equal to the probability of finding a hole and what is hole? It is absence of electron. Electron absence of n energy units below it in the valence band. Now, in case of intrinsic semiconductor, we have derived the value of EF as EC plus EV by 2. That means in case of intrinsic semiconductor, this lies right at the center. And what it tells you about the probability of having electrons and holes. If it is right at the center, then the probability is half. 50% we can have electrons and 50% holes in the valence band. Now, if I want to calculate the number of holes, that is hole concentration, then it will depend on EF and EV difference. Look at this equation, the second one. The value of P. P is what? The concentration of holes, the quantity of holes, the number of holes, which depends on, this is constant, this is K is constant. So it is a function of EF minus EV, EF minus EV, the difference in this energy level, and T. T is what? The temperature in degree Kelvin. So let us mark this as this part as A and this part as B. Okay. So repeat again. The number of electrons will depend upon the difference of this energy level. This axis is energy level. Fine. Now, as this line, okay, if it is n-type semiconductor, it will shift towards the conduction band. Fine. And if it is a p-type semiconductor, the number of holes will be more, and this line will shift towards the valence band. So there will be a shifting. But in any case, this equation will hold true. And what is that equation? The product of n into p will always be equal to the square of intrinsic concentration. And this we have derived from the mass action law or law of mass action. What it states, in case of intrinsic semiconductor, n equals to p equals to ni. Fine. Number of electrons equal to number of holes, and that equals to intrinsic concentration. But in case of uh, extrinsic semiconductors, we might have more number of electrons or more number of holes, depends upon type of impurity or type of doping. But even in that case, the product of electrons and holes will always be equal to the square of intrinsic concentration. And why, how this equation is satisfied, that we have already derived in the class. Fine. So as we know, like the relationship between the electron concentration in the conduction band to that of hole concentration in the valence band is related by mass action law. N is the number of electrons in the conduction band. P is the number of holes in the valence band. So here I have drawn, these are the electrons in the conduction band, and there will be holes in the valence band. Now, this means the Fermi energy level for a given semiconductor is same for calculation of both electron and hole concentration. This EF will be the same. What are the differences here? EC is different and EV to calculate N and P. Otherwise, EF is a common term. Fine. So to understand this, uh, what happens when this Fermi level is going to get changed? Okay. Okay, let us try to understand it. What will happen if I change the value of EF? As I said, like EF will depend upon the amount of concentration. Now, let us mark this as EF1, okay, which is nearer to the EC, and there's another EF, we'll mark this as EF2, okay. Now, so in this case, like the value of EC to EF2, this is one for representation I have taken when EF1 is close to EC, and I'm taking another representation EC and EF2. Okay, and basically all these are discrete energy levels, some values associated with it. So this difference is less as compared to this difference. So in this case, the EC to EF2, EC to EF2 is basically higher than the this case EC to EF1. Fine. So then what happens is like we are taking minus of EC minus EF1. Okay, we are taking minus minus of the difference. So this minus of EC minus EF1 will be smaller for the second case compared to the first case. Clear? So these are the two cases, case 1 and case 2. So I can write, okay, you understand from here, EC minus of EF1, okay, is less than EC minus of EF2 here. EC minus EF1, this difference is less as compared to this difference. We are considered just to understand if I move this EF in the forbidden gap, what will be the effect on the concentration that we are trying to understand. That is our objective. Here, now look at the equation. It is raised to the power of e raised to minus. Fine. So e to the power of EC minus E of 1 by KT will be greater than E minus EC minus EF2 by KT. Now this is the reason for this is we are taking the negative of EC minus EF1 and comparing with the negative of EC minus EF2. Now for these cases we are taking NC to be constant. It is a standard typical value. So what we can say that the electron concentration N1 will be greater as compared to N2. So this is the first case. This is the second case. What cases I'm referring to is these cases. Case 1A, case 2B. Fine. This is the expression that will tell me the concentration of electrons. T, let us assume to be constant at this point of time. K is constant, NC is constant. So EC we are taking as a constant for a given sample, and what we are trying to vary is the value of EF. EF is going to get changed from one level to another level for our understanding. Fine. Let us mark this as EF1 and this as EF2. At any point of time, there will be only single EF. Okay. Now, what we are trying to do here, we are trying to distinguish. What if I shift this EF on top, or what if I shift this EF bottom? If I shift it on top, let us mark it as EF1. Okay. And what if I shift it to bottom? Let us mark it as EF2. So this is EF1, this is EF2. This difference EC to EF1 is marked as A, and this difference EC to EF2 is marked as B. Now, what this tells you, when I say the case 1, when the Fermi level is close to the conduction band, the number of electrons will be more as compared when the Fermi level is away from the conduction band. Okay. And similarly, we can talk about the hole concentration. All this while we are discussing about the electron concentration. And similarly, we can talk about the hole concentration. EF1 minus EV is greater as compared to EF2 minus EV. Let us mark this as EF1 and EF2. Now again, understanding from the point of valence band. Now here EF1 to EV will be greater. This difference, we are marking this level as EF1. EF1 to EV, here is the EV, is greater as compared to EF2 minus EV. Fine. And then we are taking the negative of it. So let me write EF1 minus EV is greater as compared to EF2 minus of EV. I hope you people are following this. Then we substitute in the expression e raised to EF1 minus of EV by KT will be less than e raised to minus of EF2 by EF2 minus EV by KT. So when EF2 to EV is smaller than EF1 to EV, these are all energy levels, some discrete values. Like for example, if I take EF1 as 4, this as 2, then I can easily substitute and check out this. Fine. Now this clearly indicates that as we increase the Fermi level from EF1 to EF2, what is happening is that the electron concentration is basically decreasing. Okay, mark this as EF1 and this as EF2. Again, EC and EV at any given point of time. Okay, there'll be just a single dotted line here, dashed line. EC, EV, and EF. Now, for our understanding, what the entire purpose, the entire objective of this diagram is that what if I shift the value of EF1? Okay, typically for intrinsic semiconductor, it is right at the center. Okay, now what if I shift this Fermi level to top and the bottom? What effect it will have on the concentration? Fine. So if I talk from the conduction band point of view, from EC point of view, now this clearly indicates that if we increase the Fermi energy level from EF1, this is the EF1 to EF2, what is happening is that the electron concentration is basically decreasing. In other words, conversely, when the Fermi level is close to the conduction band, there will be more electrons. There's another way to explain this concept. For example, we're having say conduction band and valence band. Okay. Now, for a given semiconductor, for intrinsic semiconductor, there do not exist any energy levels in between. Okay. Simplest diagram. But when we dope it with uh, extrinsic semiconductor, N type or P type, if it is N type, phosphorus is added. Fine. Now, phosphorus has got a fifth extra electron, and there are plenty of such phosphorus atoms added, so they will have their own energy level here. Okay, and this energy level, there are lots of extra electron, the fifth electron. Now if I just subject it to, you know, temperature, then this electron will be let loose. They will escape from their outermost shell, and they will go into the conduction band. Fine. So here you see, otherwise the electron has to travel from here to here to act as a free electron. But then adding of impurity shift the Fermi level in case of N-type semiconductor over here. What is this? There are excess of electrons. Now these electrons can easily jump into the conduction band, meaning they can be free. This is one case. The second case, if I dope it with P-type semiconductor, sorry, P-type material, for example, boron. Boron has got 3 electrons in the outermost shell. Fine. So there exists one vacancy as far as covalence is concerned. Covalent bond is concerned, isn't it? Now there are plenty of boron atoms added to the semiconductor. So to begin with, we are going to have the holes here, fine, which is the vacancy in the boron material. Now this electron, if I subject it to some temperature or even at room temperature, they will escape from here, from the valence band, and they will occupy these states. What are these? These are holes. Which holes? The holes created by doping the impurity. Example, boron. So in bargain, what has happened? See, finally, what we have studied is the current in the semiconductor is due to both holes, holes and electrons. The first case is clear to all. If I dope it with a N-type semiconductor, This is the Fermi level here, meaning there's energy state having excess of electrons, they can go into conduction band. Likewise, for p-type semiconductor, we dope it with a boron, which has got one vacancy because three electrons in the outermost shell are shared, and there is one vacancy. Okay, and there are plenty of such boron atoms added impurity. So we are going to have energy level full of holes. Now, finally, the current depends upon number of charge carrier, that is holes and electrons. Now, in valence band, it is full of electrons. So when you subject it to temperature or some energy, these electrons can move and fill into this particular electron holes. Okay, leaving behind plenty of holes. Now it's easier for this electron, okay, to move to this point rather than going to the conduction band. So finally, the holes are created. The more the number of holes, more will be the concentration. Clear? So this is what. And the concentration of electrons is decided by EC minus EF1, minus of EC minus EF1. So smaller this value, more will be the concentration. Fine. Now, so as we increase the Fermi level from EF1 to EF2, again let me repeat, the Fermi level is just a single level. For our understanding, we are taking two cases. At first instance, the Fermi level is close to EC. In the second instance, the second case, the Fermi level has shifted to this new position. Fine. Now, as we increase the Fermi level from EF1 to EF2, what is happening is the electron concentration is basically decreasing. So we can say as we move from EF closer to EC, the electron concentration would increase and hole concentration would decrease. That is the crux of the story. So as I move EF1 to EC, the number of electrons here will be more. How from this is from the discussion and from mathematical expression, here is the expression minus of EC minus EF minus. Fine. Now, if EF, earlier we taken EF to be here, now this EF is moving to new location. Fine. Just to distinguish, we are using notation EF1 and EF2. Fine. If EF is moving closer to EV, which means moving away from EC. Fine. The electron concentration would decrease, okay, and the whole concentration would increase. But in both the cases, the product of N into P will always satisfy the mass action law, which states that the product of N into P is equal to Ni square at thermal equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium meaning temperature is kept constant, and so now we are not allowing any extra electrons to move from valence band to the conduction band. Fine, as far as temperature is concerned. Now, intrinsic Fermi energy level. Now here we are talking about two references, EC and EV. EC and EV. Okay, there is another way of representing this electron concentration and hole concentration in terms of intrinsic Fermi energy level, EI. See, in the previous case, see, each and every topic has got certain objective. We are studying this topic for some reason. What is that reason? Here, okay, this is a function of EF1 and EF2 and so on. Now we are going to replace this EF1 and EF2 into a single quantity EI. Fine. That will make the calculation much more simpler and easier for us to understand. Understood? So instead of making EF1 and EF2, let us now put this equation in terms of EI. And EI is what? The Fermi level of intrinsic semiconductor, which lies at the center of EC and EV. Okay. So this is the objective now. So instead of EF1 and EF2, We will now try to derive the equation for concentration of electrons from EI point of view. Okay, so why are we using EI instead of EF? Because it is more convenient, and we're going to use it extensively during this course. So let us see that particular equation. If EF moves to EC, what has happened? The number of electrons increases and number of holes decreases by our previous discussion. Fine. When the Fermi level, it moves towards EV here. This Fermi level, when it moves towards the EV, this is the EV. Okay. What is happening is number of electrons are decreasing and number of holes are increasing. Okay. Now, we had started with the equation. Instead of going back to the slide, let me write this again. N equals to NC e raised to minus of EC minus of EF by KT, and P equals to NV e raised to minus of EF minus of EV by KT. Okay. Now, there's always a confusion which term should be first, EC or EF, or EF or EV. See, EC, if I take EF somewhere here, okay, whichever term is at a higher energy level, you write it first. EC is at higher potential, higher level as compared to EF. EF is at higher level, energy level as compared to EV. So I'm going to write this as EF minus EV, and this is EC minus EF. Fine. Now the objective is, instead of writing EF, we are going to replace it with intrinsic EI. Fine. So for that, let us mark this equation says A. Fine. Now we can rewrite this equation as N equals to NC e raised to minus EC minus EI by KT, which equals to NI, and P equals to NV e raised to minus of EI minus of EV by KT. Okay. Now we can rewrite it as N equals to NC into e raised to minus of. Now for intrinsic semiconductor, N is equal to P is equal to Ni, isn't it? N equals to P equals to Ni. So both these equations are true. And we are taking EF right at the center. Fine. So we are going to replace this EF by EI. Now this is the equation for intrinsic semiconductor. So let me write this as EC minus EV plus EI minus of EI by KT. Again, we can write this as NC e raised to minus of EC minus of EI by KT, EF minus of EI by KT. So N equals to Ni. From our previous discussion, we have calculated the value of Ni is this value into e raised to EF minus EI by KT. Okay. So N equals to Ni e raised to EF minus EI by KT, where Ni equals to Nc e raised to minus of is C minus of EI by KT. Now see, this equation has become so simple. N equals to Ni, where Ni is this factor. Similarly, the whole concentration, let us mark this as the important equation we put in the box. Let us mark this as B. Similarly, the whole concentration in valence band, whole concentration in valence band can be written as P NV e raised to EF minus of EV plus EI minus of EI by KT. I can separate them out. NV e raised to minus of EI minus of EV by KT and e raised to EI minus of EF by KT. Okay. Now this P is equal to Ni, because P equals to N in intrinsic semiconductor, into e raised to